Charles Leclerc's manager just dropped a bomb that could end Ferrari's future with their star driver, and nobody saw it coming. What was supposed to be a routine interview turned into a warning shot, and now insiders are saying Leclerc might already be planning his exit. If Ferrari doesn't fix this before 2026, they could lose not just Leclerc but control of their entire long-term project. We're breaking down everything Todt really meant, what Ferrari's next move could be, and why other teams are watching closely, so hit that subscribe button now before the grid shifts forever. Charles Leclerc was never supposed to be a flight risk. He was Ferrari's long-term bet, the loyal prodigy groomed to bring titles back to Maranello. Since his debut with the team, his passion, performance, and sheer resilience through setbacks have made him the face of Ferrari's future. But this week, everything changed. A subtle but deliberate comment from his manager has set off alarm bells inside the paddock and inside Ferrari headquarters. Nicolas Todt, Leclerc's longtime manager and trusted advisor, told the press that Charles's future depends on alignment with Ferrari's vision beyond 2026. Simple on the surface, but packed with implications. In Formula One, statements like this aren't casual. They're strategic, and this one was aimed directly at Ferrari's leadership. It wasn't just about expectations. It was a warning that Leclerc's continued commitment isn't automatic. To understand the weight of those words, you need to consider what's happening behind the curtain. Ferrari is in the middle of preparing for the massive 2026 regulation, overhaul, a new engine formula, redesign chassis rules, and a total rethink of how performance is extracted from the car. Leclerc has had early access to some of those development briefings. And from what's leaked out, he's not convinced the team is moving in the right direction. Insiders have suggested that there's a growing gap between what Ferrari is promising and what they're actually delivering. From aerodynamic concepts that look unstable in simulation to power unit philosophies that might lag behind rivals like Mercedes and Red Bull, these concerns are piling up. Leclerc, after years of near misses and lost momentum, is running out of patience. And when a driver of his caliber feels unheard, his camp speaks up. What makes this even more explosive is the timing. In 2025, Lewis Hamilton arrives. The seven-time world champion brings experience, weight, and inevitably influence. While the media paints it as a dream pairing, the reality is more complex. Leclerc wants to lead. He wants to win. If he begins to feel like the technical direction is shifting around Hamilton's needs, it's not just a professional insult, it's a signal that Ferrari may be moving on without saying so. Todt's comment then becomes more than a statement, it's a shield. It protects Leclerc's standing. It says to Ferrari, don't forget who's carried your hopes the last 5 years. And it also alerts the rest of the paddock that if things fall apart, Leclerc is not locked down emotionally. Contracts in Formula One are flexible when motivation fades. And right now, Ferrari is being tested not on the stopwatch, but in trust. This is the flashpoint. Ferrari's reputation is built on passion and power, but in the modern F1 world, that's not enough. Drivers want technical confidence, strategic clarity, and long-term vision. And if Charles Leclerc, the man who committed himself to the red suit through failures and false starts, is beginning to look elsewhere, then Ferrari is facing a crisis far deeper than just car performance. Nicolas Todt's statement wasn't accidental, emotional, or vague. It was precise, designed to land like a diplomatic strike. In the Formula One ecosystem, driver managers are not just agents, they are tacticians. And when Todt said Leclerc's future depends on Ferrari's alignment with his vision, he was speaking a language everyone in the paddock understands: pressure politics. The goal was clear: get Ferrari's leadership to realize that their top driver is no longer quietly compliant. This isn't Todt trying to stir drama. It's Todt protecting Leclerc's value. After seasons of near misses, strategic failures, and developmental stumbles, Leclerc has paid his dues. What Todt is doing now is rebalancing the power dynamic. By making a public declaration, he's changed the conversation from "is Ferrari good enough for Leclerc?" to "is Leclerc still committed to Ferrari?" That reversal of pressure shifts responsibility back onto the team and puts the spotlight exactly where he wants it. Timing matters here. With Hamilton's arrival on the horizon, Ferrari's attention will inevitably be split. Technical direction, resource allocation, media narratives all will orbit both drivers. And Todt knows that in these moments of transition, influence can slip. If Leclerc isn't proactive, he risks being cast as the legacy figure while Hamilton becomes the central figure of the 2026 project. This statement is a line drawn early away to prevent that slide before it happens. There's also a deeper contractual play at work. Leclerc is signed through 2026, but no modern driver contract is truly rigid. Performance clauses, team performance metrics, and mutual option windows offer subtle ways out. By introducing public doubt now, Todt is doing two things: reminding Ferrari that those clauses exist and letting rival teams know that if the 2026 vision falters, Leclerc could be available. It's not a threat, it's a signal. This signal resonates through the paddock. Teams like Aston Martin, Audi, and even Mercedes post-Hamilton would be watching Leclerc's situation closely. A manager's public comment like this is a quiet invitation. We're listening. It doesn't mean negotiations are underway. It means conversations could begin under the right conditions. In a sport where top talent is always in demand, being the first to show signs of availability gives Leclerc strategic market leverage. There's also the emotional message baked into Todt's words. It's subtle but powerful. Leclerc's patience has limits. He's been loyal through public criticism, technical failures, and high-pressure situations. But even that loyalty has an expiration date. By publicly acknowledging that a decision may come down to 2026 performance and project vision, Todt is managing expectations while preserving dignity. It keeps the door open, but only if Ferrari proves worthy. And most importantly, this wasn't just a media moment, it was an internal signal. Ferrari's engineers, team bosses, and corporate leadership now know that Leclerc's camp is watching closely. Every technical meeting, every simulator result, every timeline delay now carries added weight. That's what makes Todt's message so effective. It doesn't shout. It doesn't threaten. But it changes everything. Inside Maranello, Todt's comment wasn't treated as media noise. It landed like a coded red alert. According to sources close to the team, the statement triggered an immediate internal response not from the PR department, but from the technical and executive core. While Ferrari hasn't made any official reply, behind the scenes, high-level discussions began almost instantly. The goal? Damage control. Because when a driver's manager questions the project publicly, it's usually a sign that private conversations have already failed. Team principal Frederic Vasseur finds himself at the center of this storm. As the man who once guided Leclerc at Sauber, he has unique access and a reservoir of trust. But even that relationship has limits. Vasseur is now in a political squeeze, maintain Leclerc's confidence while integrating Lewis Hamilton, a global icon, and a different kind of teammate. That's not just a leadership challenge. It's a resource war, and the wrong move could fracture internal loyalty. The technical department is also feeling the heat. Engineers tasked with 2026 development now operate under a new layer of scrutiny. Leclerc's growing concerns, conveyed bluntly in debriefs and simulator feedback, are being tracked not only for performance, but for political impact. Every delay, every simulation misalignment, every failed update is now tied to a bigger question. Are we risking our driver's future with this program? That kind of pressure changes how engineers prioritize work and how they report results. Above the garage, senior leadership is no longer detached from the situation. Ferrari chairman John Elkann and CEO Benedetto Vigna, often focused on broader company strategy, have reportedly begun asking pointed questions about the team's internal climate. They understand the stakes. Leclerc is more than a driver. He's a Ferrari brand ambassador, a generational talent, and the public face of their return-to-glory narrative. Losing him would damage not just results, but reputation, and in Italy, that carries enormous weight. There are now two schools of thought forming inside Ferrari. One believes Leclerc must be re-engaged immediately with clearer commitments, more influence over development, and public shows of support. The other camp argues for a more neutral approach, no sudden reactions, let performance do the talking, and manage the Hamilton-Leclerc balance as equals. This internal divide isn't visible to fans yet, but if it deepens, it could paralyze decision-making during the most critical development window of the decade. Meanwhile, the public silence from Leclerc speaks volumes. In modern Formula One, silence from a driver after a controversial comment is rarely accidental. It's a message, a way to amplify the manager's words without appearing confrontational. That silence is also a signal to Ferrari. I'm watching how you respond. I'm giving you space for now. If that space is wasted, the next statement might not come from Todt. It might come from Leclerc himself. And that's the moment Ferrari wants to avoid at all costs. Because if Leclerc reaches the point where he goes public, where he expresses doubt in the project, the team's control over the narrative collapses. Sponsors start asking questions. Fans turn skeptical. And rival teams start knocking with real offers. Todt's statement was the warning. Ferrari's response or lack of one will determine whether that warning becomes a countdown to exit.